Heading into Sunday, this is your Week 5 preview. We got matchups, we got fantasy picks to pop, we got our game picks, and of course, we have our storylines. Let's hit the intro.
Perfect.
Before we get too far into things, subscribe to support the channel and of course get the bell on to know every single time I'm dropping a video. And with that, it's on to the content. First things first, hit them with our matchups. We got a number of big games this weekend, starting things off with the Green Bay Packers heading into Cincinnati. In this matchup, we see a ton of offensive firepower. For Green Bay, you've got Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones, and of course, reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers. And for Cincinnati, you've got Joe Burrow with his cluster of wide receivers, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and of course, first-round pick Jamar Chase. And coming out of the backfield, they've got Joe Mixon. So this is going to be a lot of offensive firepower between two offensive head coaches. You've got Matt LaFleur for the Green Bay Packers and Zach Taylor for the Cincinnati Bengals, but the difference between these two teams comes down to defense. Because both of these defenses are top 10 in yards allowed per game, but the biggest difference between both of them is in the points allowed per game. Cincinnati only allowing 18 points per game, whereas Green Bay is allowing 25 points per game. So the onus is actually going to be on the Green Bay Packers to be able to slow down the Cincinnati Bengals offense for putting up points. And honestly, it's going to be a tough task. The biggest thing for Green Bay in this game is going to have to be getting after Joe Burrow in the backfield, getting past their offensive line. And for Cincinnati, it's just doing your jobs and putting up points. Pretty crazy. Both these teams are 3-1 heading into this matchup, and I expect a lot of offensive fireworks in this one. Second matchup is going to be the Cleveland Browns heading into SoFi to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. For the Los Angeles Chargers, it's just continuing their dominance over the AFC West. Right now, they're sitting pretty in first place in their division with some big wins over two division opponents, the Raiders and the Chiefs. So, tied with the Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Chargers are looking to continue to, spread dominance and continue to roll forward throughout the rest of this season. I know we're only 4 weeks behind us and week 5 ahead, but setting the tone early for the Los Angeles Chargers is going to be vital as they look to make not only a splash in the playoffs, but just to show that they are a dominant team to be reckoned with inside of the AFC West. And for the Cleveland Browns, they're in a very similar predicament. They're tied with two other teams inside of the AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals, like I mentioned a little while ago, at 3-1, and of course the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns at 3-1 are in a 3-horse race early to just establish dominance in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, have been slacking behind a little bit with 3 straight losses in back-to-back weeks, but for both of these teams, it's just about asserting dominance within their own divisions as well as other playoff-level teams throughout the AFC. So this one's got a lot on the line pretty early in the season. I'm looking forward to a lot of big offense for both these teams, and both these teams have some absolute studs on defense as well. Final matchup I wanted to spotlight, the Buffalo Bills heading into Kansas City to take on the defending AFC champion, Kansas City Chiefs, in a not only rivalry game, but an AFC Championship rematch. For the Buffalo Bills, are coming into this game 3-1 with a command over the AFC East. And for them, the offense has begun to roll these last 3 weeks. They've been putting up an absurd number of points, getting their wide receivers involved in every aspect of the game. Josh Allen has begun to, just get comfortable in the 2021 season. So the Buffalo Bills have a lot of offense walking into this game. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, at a 2-2 mark so far, they're just trying to get back into the race in the AFC West. The defending AFC champions right now are not in a great spot inside of their own division. The rest of the AFC West is looking really close, really competitive around them. And if they're trying to make some big impressions to, push themselves into the playoff hunt, they need to start getting wins now. With our matchups behind us, let's move on to our fantasy picks to pop. Who are the 3 players I think are going to explode or at least do really well this week. First things first, I want to spotlight Emmanuel Sanders, the wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The biggest thing going for him here are the Kansas City Chiefs are actually allowing the second most points per game in the NFL so far this season and are allowing the sixth most passing yards in the NFL throughout this season. So, Emmanuel Sanders in a vaunted Bills passing game is going to have a lot of opportunities, while Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley are more than likely going to be getting spotlights. I expect Emmanuel Sanders to have a big day. Second up is Jamal Williams, the Detroit Lions running back. They're taking on the Minnesota Vikings this week, who are bottom 10 in the NFL in rushing yards allowed per game. So I think Jamal Williams, as well as DeAndre Swift, are going to see a lot of opportunities as they are the heart and soul of this offense. The passing options for Jared Goff aren't necessarily the greatest, but I expect Jamal Williams and honestly DeAndre Swift, but fantasy owners already knew that, to have a pretty good day on Sunday. And the final player I want to spotlight is Chuba Hubbard, the running back for the Carolina Panthers, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are allowing a ton of yardage on the ground this season, second most in the NFL. So I think Chuba Hubbard's going to get a lot of opportunities for the Carolina Panthers as they look to not only establish the running game, but Hubbard has the ability to take on a very similar role to Christian McCaffrey, as McCaffrey is still recovering from an injury. So Hubbard's going to get a lot of touches. I think if you're a little bit wary at running back, you need to be starting him this week. Our fantasy picks to pop behind us. Let's move on to picks. Starting off, the New York Jets taking on the Atlanta Falcons all the way across the pond in England. I don't expect much from the Jets at all. I haven't expected much from the Jets, honestly, at all this season. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to have a big day, well, over in England. New England taking a flight down to Houston to take on the Texans. For me in this one, I think it's just going to come down to coaching. Give me Bill Belichick. Give me the New England Patriots to get a much-needed win. Detroit and Minnesota, like I mentioned a little while ago, I think Detroit has a good opportunity to keep things close, but I think Minnesota overall just has a better roster. Give me the Vikings. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers suffered their first loss last week, but I think they're going to get right back on track with a win this week. I think Chuba Hubbard, like I said, is going to have a big day. New Orleans and Washington. I think the big difference maker in this one is going to be the Saints defense. They're actually pretty tough to play against, so give me the New Orleans Saints. Tennessee and Jacksonville. Not much has to really be said in this one. Jacksonville's avoiding scandals right now, so give me the Tennessee Titans. Miami and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tua Tagovailoa ain't in. This isn't even going to be close. Give me the Buccaneers. Green Bay heading into Cincinnati. The first game that I spotlighted for this week. I think it's going to be really interesting. Give me an upset with Cincinnati getting the win here. Denver and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to be the big difference maker in this one. Give me the Steelers. Chicago taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I think I'm going to take the Raiders by 10. Cleveland and the Los Angeles Chargers. This one is a very tough game. I think the experience at head coaching, even if it's just 1 year more experience, is going to give me the W. Give me the Cleveland Browns in this one. New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas offense has been on fire this season. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona is the final undefeated team remaining in this season. The Cardinals are playing really well. Give me the Cardinals. Sunday Night Football, Buffalo and Kansas City. I think Buffalo's going to walk in and get their revenge. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Monday Night Football to round out the week. Indianapolis going into Baltimore. Give me the Ravens. Picks out of the way, let's round out the video with our storylines. So heading into week 5, the San Francisco 49ers have a little bit of an injury issue at quarterback. Surprise, surprise, Jimmy Garoppolo is dealing with an injury, and this could mean Trey Lance can very well see his first start as an NFL pro. 49ers fans and NFL fans in general are just really curious to see what Trey Lance has as a full-time starter, but Jimmy Garoppolo is obviously not going to go down without a fight. But let's say Trey Lance actually gets that opportunity. He's actually going to start going into Sunday. Well, if Trey Lance plays well, do the 49ers have a conundrum at quarterback? Because Jimmy Garoppolo, by all means, has not been playing bad at all this season. If Trey Lance comes in and just shows a more dynamic approach in this offense, opens up the playbook a little bit more for Kyle Shanahan, allows them to do some more trickery, who knows what's going to happen? There could be an actual, there could be an actual question here. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers? Obviously, this just comes down to Trey Lance having to play well, but if he does play well, if he does get the start on Sunday, that's a storyline that we're going to have to be paying attention to the rest of the season. Next storyline up, the AFC North as a whole is really interesting right now. 3 teams are sitting in first place right now, tied for first. The Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals are all playing incredibly well. Obviously, going into the season, I had mentioned that I think the Ravens and the Browns are the real contenders in this division, and the Cincinnati Bengals so far have just exceeded expectations on both sides of the football. So the entire AFC North right now, a 3-horse race tied for first place with some tough games this week. Coming out of this week, who's going to be leading? Who's going to be tied? I think a couple of these teams are more than likely going to get wins. So it's going to just be really interesting to see how this develops throughout the season. And staying in the AFC North, the final storyline I wanted to spotlight is how long can the Pittsburgh Steelers realistically start Ben Roethlisberger? He has not been the same since his injuries over the last couple of years. They haven't been able to do much on offense, minus, checking things down within 10 to 15 yards. Big Ben is just not the player that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers need him to be. What is it going to take for head coach Mike Tomlin to just try to do something different at the quarterback position? After 3 straight losses, riding with Ben is looking more like a liability. But that's all I got for you this week. Thank you so much for watching the video. Of course, check me out. All my social media is down in the description below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course, get the bell on to know every single time I'm dropping a video. My name is Tristan Blake Rines, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. Adios.